toxic masculinity, loving immigrants, encouraging vulnerability. Took me a few takes to get that one. Putting a positive spin on Brexit. The realisation that one should not fight a man with a perm. Idols return with their second album, Joy as an Act of Resistance. Okay then, Idols, like seemingly every other band nowadays, they are post-punk, post-hardcore. I say that because so many other bands I've been reviewing lately seem to fall under the post-hardcore sort of moniker, but a very good one they are indeed. This is their second album, following last year's Brutalism album, which was very well regarded. I think they got a couple of EPs out as well. They formed in 2012 and hail from Bristol, Englandhamshire. We have Joe Talbot on vocals, and a very good lyricist he is as well. Adam Devonshire on bass. Mark Bowen on guitar. I think he's kind of classed as the right-hand man from what I've read. Also on guitar we have Lee Kiernan, and on drums we have John Beavis. And in regards to Joy as an Act of Resistance, I'll just quickly read out something that I found on genius.com. Joy as an Act of Resistance takes aim at everything from toxic masculinity, nationalism, immigration and class inequality, all while maintaining a visceral, infectious positivity. That's quite nice, isn't it? Seems to be one of these positive thinking bands. And I like that. I like that. There's enough negativity in the world. Just one more quick thing before we get into the sounds. There's just something here that Joe Talbot said. This album is an attempt to be vulnerable to our audience and to encourage vulnerability. A brave, naked smile in this shitty new world. We have stripped back the songs and lyrics to our bare flesh to allow each other to breathe, to celebrate our differences, and act as an ode to communities and the individuals that forge them. Because without our community, we'd be nothing. I wholeheartedly agree, though I do despise people. Track 1 is Colossus. Starts out with a clacking percussion and some an ominous bass strum. And Joe tells us, I was done in on the weekend. The weekend lasted 20 years. The world's best bulimic bartend. Tender, violent and queer. This song deals very much with the toxic masculinity that was mentioned earlier on. And the song questions the definition of being a real man. Then the song starts to build with tension. They laugh at me when I run. I waste away for fun. I am my father's son. His shadow weighs a ton. Things then kick off in a more punk-like territory. And there was one line in it I particularly enjoyed. I'm like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I put homophobes in coffins. Yeah, I guess the band's standing up for gay rights here. I believe this is in reference to something that Stone Cold Steve Austin once said in an interview. I'll just quickly read it out. I'm for same-sex marriage. I believe that any human being in America, any human being in the world that wants to be married, if it's the same sex, more power to them. Definitely a band that swings left, I'm guessing. Next up we have the fantastically titled Never Fight a Man with a Perm. What a great fucking title. Bit more of an 80s vibe to this one I found. Kind of had a hint of Joy Division and Killing Joke. Joe's vocals are very street in their delivery, but they work very well. He's quite the wordsmith. I do enjoy his lyrics and I do enjoy his vocals as well. Sounds pretty much like this is, I think this might be a true story of a time where he started some shit with somebody in a bar and kind of regretted it. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. I said I got a penchant for smokes and kicking douches in the mouth. Sadly for you, my last cigarette's gone out. I wonder if that's a reference to the I'm all out of bubblegum line from They Live. And later on it goes, you're a top shop tyrant. Even your haircut's violent. You look like you're from Love Island. You stood and the room went silent. Never fight a man with a perm. Next up we have I'm Scum. This one starts out with a very punky bass line and has some jarring guitar that's peppered throughout. My descriptions are awful. I assume this is about being left-leaning and living in a less than affluent area. I sing at fascist till my head comes off. I am Dennis Skinner's Molotov. I'm lefty. I'm soft. I'm minimum wage job. I'm a mongrel dog. I'm just another cunt. I'm scum. Don't talk about yourself like that, Joe. Really cool song. Really enjoyed this one. Next up we have Danny Nadelko. There's a much faster tempo in this one. Joe said of this song is about how much I love immigrants. I fucking love immigrants. Every single one of them. They are brave enough to start a new life in our country. Yeah, it had kind of an undertones vibe on this one I found, especially on the chorus, which I have no doubt will go down fucking well live. I can imagine this one just going being quite an anthemic anthem. Fear leads to panic. Panic leads to pain. Pain leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Once again, I really, really enjoy the lyrics that Joe comes up with here. Got a real... I love the delivery. I love the vocal patterns. Yeah, I just love the lyrics in general. Next up, we have Love Song. I think it's about being vulnerable and proclaiming love. So a love song then. Ironically, this one actually sounds very dark and menacing. Has a hint of Dead Kennedys to it, I thought. Especially East Bay Ray, his sort of guitar tone, that kind of spinny, trippy guitar tone. I fucking love you. I really love you. Look at the card I bought. It says I love you. Next track is called June, and this is a real tragic song. Apparently it's named June because last June Joe and his wife were expecting a child. They were going to name Agatha, and very sadly she was stillborn. So that's what this song is about. Quite a harsh song. Features the line, "A stillborn was stillborn, I am a father." And this is pretty much in reference to an Ernest Hemingway 6-word story that went, "Baby shoes for sale, never worn." And those words feature in this song as well. That hits quite hard, that image. I think just from this song alone, the musicianship is fantastic. It sounds great throughout, and this song is a real indicator of what emotion and passion, not just Joe but the entire band, put into what they're doing. This is definitely one of those bands that mean what they're doing. You know, they seem to be very authentic. I like that. Heartbreaking song. Moving on to the next song, we've got Samaritans. Joe said of this one, "This is a song about the disease in the brain called masculinity. Man up, sit down, chin up, pipe down, socks up, don't cry, drink up, just lie. Grow some balls," he said, "grow some balls." Again, really love the lyrics and the way it makes you think. And I really do enjoy the way the band work well with each other. You can hear every member of the band prominently. Everyone's carrying their weight. Everyone knows what they're doing. It's a very fully formed band, I think. Next song is Television, and this one deals with the way people look at themselves nowadays, and the perception of what beauty is and how we should be as people, and how much the media imposes that on us. How no one feels truly good about being themselves anymore, and what is deemed to be beautiful and what is not. I really enjoy the sentiment on this song. I have no idea where I am right now. I've not been this way before. If someone talked to you the way you do to you, I'd put their teeth through. Love yourself. And that's what they do. The bastards made you not want to look like you. Great song, and I really, really enjoyed the sentiment on it. Love yourself, people. Be who you are. Just do it away from me. Next song is called Great. And this is a positive spin on the Brexit thing. Can tell how much I deal with politics. Joe says of this one, "Let us go forward with open minds and open hearts into that fuck off fire we've started. Islam didn't eat your hamster. Change isn't a crime. So won't you take my hand, sister, and sing with me in time? G-R-E-A-T." Proper punk tune, this one. The line, "Islam didn't eat your hamster," I think might be in reference to an old story that appeared in a tabloid called The Sun. Freddie Starr ate my hamster. He was a comedian. I don't know if he still is actually, but yeah, there was a weird headline about that in the 80s, I think it was, maybe 90s. Next up we have Gram Rock. Very nice drum intro on this one before we get some jangly guitars and a nice bass line joining in. And Joe says of this one, "We wrote this as a concept song. We said yes to every idea proposed musically and then applied that to the subject of 2 coked up bankers at a funeral. I'm sorry your mother's dead. Ah, lovely spread. I scored a win. Bada bada bing. I'm the king." Yeah, I had some heavier power chords that kicked in a bit later on in the song that kind of beefed things up a little bit. Yeah, good tune. The penultimate song we have is Cry to Me. And this is a cover, albeit a punkier version of a 1962 song by Solomon Burke, which is a beautiful song. Man, that guy could sing. And yeah, they do a pretty good rendition of it. Like I said, a punkier version. Doesn't compare to the original, but and the final song on the album is Rottweiler. Starts out as a kind of traditional punky affair, but transitions into more mid-paced territory. There's a snake in my boot. There's a rat in my cage. There's a shark at my feet, apparently. That's been circling for days and days. Another good song, really decent close to the album. 8 out of 10 for this. Really, really enjoyed it. The musicianship's on point, as I said earlier. The band seems really cohesive. They work very well together. They sound confident, brash and confident, and sound like a band with integrity, do what they do, and they do it well. But for me, the absolute standout on the album is Joe Talbot. Not just his lyrical prowess, but his vocal delivery as well. It's just done with such passion and enthusiasm, and it's real. There's an emotion to it. I like it a lot. So yeah, 8 out of 10. Great band, great songs, great album. Check it out. So what's next, I hear nobody ask. My final subscriber request for Simon O'Connor will be out in a couple of days. That'll be for Soulfly's debut. That's already been filmed. I'm just about to film my City review for the classic album review from Strapping Young Lad. I've been promising this one for about 6 weeks now. Asshole. That'll be out probably Wednesday, Thursday-ish. And next week we've got quite a lot. We've got Clutch with their new album. We've got the new Spiritualized album. And also I'm going to be taking a look at Pig Destroyer. So a fuck ton coming up. If you're not already subscribed, just fuck off.